Thank you for a wonderful 2023. We're going to have some fun here. We're going to recap the best, biggest stories of 2023, some things we're looking forward to in 2024. And I don't know how to convert that into metric for my European viewers. I think you guys will help me out, and we'll figure it out. We've got Lars from Best in Tesla. We've got Jan from TeslaFix, and we've got the fat guy in the bottom.
Oh,
panel
yeah,
there.
come on. No, we have
That's
the
Brian.
legend Brian from My Tesla Weekend here as well, of course. So, hello, everybody. I gonna rip the mic now to me. We're gonna have here this competition of who talks longer. Let's see. No. But yeah, I'm also pretty stoked to do this live stream together in this mega stream again. Or yeah, let's say it's a mega stream. We are the most entertaining Tesla YouTubers, I would say, in that sense. So let's just start it. I think the year was pretty interesting, of course. And yeah, Lars, maybe you have also something for the intro to say.
Yeah, I think 2023 has been a very interesting year for Tesla. When I had to sit down and think about all the things Tesla has done this year, well, it was actually quite a long list to go through. And it was like popping out new things all the time. Oh, yeah, they also did this. Oh, yeah. So, it has been quite an amazing year for Tesla, in my opinion. And the stock has also recovered a bit this year after a terrible 2022 for the stock anyway, even though Tesla performed quite well.
Yeah, but of course we don't really care because we all own just Nikola stock, of course. So that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, sadly Trevor is locked up now, but yeah.
It's to protect us from his brilliance.
That's
yesterday,
true.
On X, a gentleman was saying that NIO is going to be the winner because of swap stations. And I tried to point out that a swap station costs millions of dollars. Half the thing is buried. It's a very complicated, expensive process. And the throughput per dollar invested is quite limited. It's a multi-million-dollar affair with complicated permitting because, excavation. And he said, well, superchargers are just as expensive. Oh, that doesn't make any sense at all. And the further this discussion went, the more we realized he's in deep on NIO to the point where logic be damned. And that's what we see with a lot of I'm chasing the next Tesla investors. There's already
the next Tesla is the next Tesla is Tesla. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just getting started.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. So I mean the year was pretty interesting. We've seen so many, like you said, so many inventions, so many things to talk about, of course. But maybe we can start with around January, what we've seen, from which year we came, 2022 to 2023. What was the biggest surprise there? I mean, of course, the delivery numbers of 2022 came in 2023. It was pretty impressive to see that Tesla produced 1.3 million vehicles. And that was totally interesting to see. Of course, they should have reached, like, the predictions were 1.5, I think, or something like this, around that. But yeah, who cares in that sense? Also, that BYD was following pretty close was interesting in the beginning. I would say that was my biggest things. Always the numbers in the beginning of the year is so super interesting for me. So, what was your thing in the beginning, or?
Early in the year, I'd say hitting the 1.5-ish last year was great. It was not a surprise to any of us who were following it. The idea that we would have a 50% growth rate this year was never really in the books. We could see that. I mean, we could have gotten there with some aggressive ramping in Berlin and Texas, but it didn't look super plausible. We knew the Cybertruck was going to be at the end of the year and not contribute meaningfully. So early in the year, that's where I was at. How about you, Lars?
Yeah. When we saw the ramp of the Berlin and Texas factory, that was kind of where, okay, we're not gonna get to like 2 million or 2 million plus this year, as many thought, me included. But I also thought that Tesla would have a much better net profits than they do because of all their price cuts they had to do, because we are in this high interest rates economy right now, and there's a lot of shaky economies out there. So for Tesla to keep the sales as peak volume, as Elon talked about in the beginning of the year, they will sacrifice profits to continue to grow as fast as they can. And I think it was ARK Invest that showed that in the US, it was the same cost per month to buy a Tesla Model Y long range as in 2019. So the price is basically the same, even though we have had all these price cuts. So it has been a crazy year when it comes to price cuts and Tesla starting this whole price war around the globe, and kind of dictating what the others had to put their prices.
So a big piece of news for the year was the refreshed Model 3, the 3 Fresh. Who saw it coming?
Yeah.
But in 2023. Did you see it coming in 23?
No, I thought it would be later. I didn't expect it to come out this quick, but we have heard a lot about the Highland. We were talking, I was making a lot of videos about the Project Highland and all the speculation about what it was and what it would be, and maybe it was a whole new production method and stuff like that. But yeah, it came out, and it was quite an amazing. It was also one of my highlights for this year, also for my videos. The 2 videos I did when producing, I got the chance to take a look at it down at Tesla for a couple of hours, just checking it out, and also the test drive of it afterwards, a month or 2 after. They went pretty well. I think there was a lot of interest in the refresh Model 3 we've been talking about for so long.
So I went back and looked through the news and my own videos to see how early there was discussion about the refresh coming out. And it was all in 2023. I couldn't find any credible rumors, any leaks prior to about March. So going into the year, it looks like there was not much discussion. And then it happened.
Yeah, because I also had a friend who was talking about, are they going to come with a refresh? And like, yeah, I think they're going to come with a refresh, but probably not, before at the end of the year, maybe in 2024 or something like that. And so he bought an old Tesla Model 3, and 4 months later, they come with a refresh. Sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I also think the Model 3 Highland was pretty interesting. But one thing, I since I read the comments, I think with the sound issues that Lars has, maybe Lars, you could check if you have headphones or something because I think it's feedback of the mic. Just something to you can figure out how it works. And then I gonna go over the Model 3 because maybe I share here something, because it would make sense now to position it this way. I'm gonna present, and now Lars has to do totally multitask now because he has to see that. Yeah, so I don't own a Tesla actually before, and the Model 3 refresh, of course, is available in Europe now since a few months now. And I've wanted to actually wait with a purchase because no financial advice here. I want to make this pretty clear here. But I wanted to keep on buying Tesla stock for myself and just to do this strategy more and don't own a Tesla actually at first. But since I'm doing a Tesla YouTube channel and having to get to know to the product I talk about this all the time. I interview people like you guys and many experts from the Tesla community as well. And of course, it makes sense to really experience the product as well over just the knowledge you have. Theoretically, I know everything. I've did some test drives or something, but it's not the same. So big announcement here. I've actually purchased a Model 3 Highland before Christmas on Thursday, and it arrived. I could pick it up yesterday. So 1 week, it took 1 week in Germany actually to get a Model 3 Highland configured on the website. I configured it on the website and it was ready 1 week after in Germany. And this is insane because, of course, Germany is super dysfunctional when it comes to things like this. Compare that to VW, for example. VW takes around 1 year to a half year when you're very fast if you order something to receive that. And that's normal here. Also with the software updates, we had things like that. Delays are also there. You're going to bring that to the service at VW at first and stuff like this. Many things doesn't work. Also the delivery side doesn't work that way. And also the Tesla employees were super, even around Christmas, were very thought about how to get this thing to me, and it's super super awesome. I'm going to share something here. Maybe Lars can bring that up here. There's a picture. So I hope I don't offend somebody from the UK now, because this sign, of course, means something else there. For me, I mean it as a peace sign in reverse. So don't get too mad now, because this is, of course, something very vulgar in the UK. But yeah, so this is the styling. I've chosen to go with a white one with the So how do you guys think it looks? It's a white one with a silver.
That's good.
Yeah, and here's
So I would say, first of all, the sign, the symbol means the same thing. It means peace to everyone except the British. I don't know, but it looks good. It looks. I mean, I like the Model 3 already, but this is a prettier Model 3.
It really is. It looks very sporty also in person, and also the hood isn't so flat that was criticized. It is still very low, and it is still very but not as duck-like that people complain sometimes. Like it's too low, because there's of course no engine. And here's a funny clip actually because Teslas are just fun. So I'm going to show that with audio. I hope I don't blow out your eardrums now. I'm going to make it very quiet. Yeah, so you have this horn feature, for example, and stuff like this. I knew that from videos already, but it's so funny to actually see it, in person. How it is. It's very interesting. And Brian, of course, you have also a story to tell about new Tesla, I would say. Yeah, but please go on.
Oh, which one do I have to tell? I don't.
Yeah, you also became a Tesla family member.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing is early in the year, me and Jan, fellow Tesla frauds here, we're not in the Tesla club. And, I had it on good authority that Lars had a Model 3 and a Model Y. Show off. But us poor folk had to wait for the value proposition to reach a point. Now, your value proposition in Denmark is quite different because Norway. What am I doing here? In Denmark, it's quite different because the taxes on your internal combustion vehicles is so high that you'd be crazy to buy anything other than an EV. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's true.
And so Jan and I had to wait for the value proposition to get to the point where we could actually do it. And the car is everything I hoped it would be. I went in a couple days before Halloween, managed to schedule my pickup to magically coincide with a Tesla Owners Club event that was already happening there so that I could have a big support group. And when I went to pick it up, so I go to pick it up, and the kid behind the counter is like, okay, and I know you. Like, oh. He's like, I thought you lived in Europe. I'm like, that's very weird. But, and then they said, do you want us to come out and show you the car? And I said, I think I've got some people for that. So.
I don't look at my own cars, okay?
Well,
yeah, but
my viewers wanted to be part of it. They were there for it.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I had really to push actually to them. I also have a YouTube channel. It was the opposite. Because I wanted to ask if I could film there, and they of course denied being in Germany, like in the center itself. But they were very helpful and friendly. Like on outside and at the signs and everywhere you can film and stuff like this. They have very strict policies. But absolutely great that now we kind of really see what. Of course, we've test drove the Teslas before, but it's a different thing when you own one. You kind of get more into depth, and in theory, I knew almost everything already. But it's interesting how to see it in person. And coming from Germany, this is so interesting because it kind of is the thing that we have so much dysfunction on with other car manufacturers because VW, for example, you've seen the problems they had, and also that they now fire people and stuff like this. We have in our work culture, we have a really like kind of dysfunction there, and it's such a breath of fresh air to getting a car delivered or having a car available in 7 days that you configured online, which is totally unprecedented. Also, the software integration is crazy. I knew that already, but still, when you experience it, how easy it is. I walk up to my car, it opens up. Those conveniences you don't find with German legacy car manufacturers. And it's a good thing to experience that also here. And it's very inspiring for me as well, I would say.
Can we do a quick mic check on Lars? Make sure you're
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
pretty quiet. Pretty
Yeah, it's
quiet on
kind of-
my end, anyway.
On my
Because I'm
end as
getting-
well. So the range. Okay, wait. Somebody asked in the comments what is the range, and now I'm blacking out. I think it's. I have the standard range. I picked the standard range with the wheels that also deduct your range.
54.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
It goes up to
Yeah.
554
Yeah.
Standard
Yeah,
range.
but
kilometers.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Exactly. And yeah, the wheels are actually good for a long range, actually. So it's a poser long range, you could say, more in that sense. But I only drive like short distances only in South Germany. So for that, it's pretty fine. I don't go to Berlin or something like this. Those long.
I have the long range Model 3 from 2019, and that had a WLTP of 570 or something, 560 something. So the standard
Okay.
range that comes out today, the refresh you just bought, is kind of the same range almost as the old long range. So I've been on road trip all over Europe, so yeah, it's plenty.
Perfect.
Well, and the Model 3 standard range now comes with LFP batteries, if that's unless I'm mistaken. So you can charge that to 100%.
Yes.
Meaning you've got a little bit more effective range on a daily basis without taxing your battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's way more convenient to use it actually in that sense. Yeah.
So we've
Lars,
talked a
you-
bit about the Model 3 refresh. I feel like that was the only news this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
I was
For me at least.
I remember one because Brian was actually helping making the Tesla Model Y the best-selling car of the year. Or we don't know for sure yet, but it looks like it's going to be, if not the best selling car in the world, definitely one of the best-selling cars in the world. So that is kind of amazing. And if we should take a little European look at it, because it's also looking to be the best-selling car here in Europe. And that is the first time it's an electric one. And it's also the first time it is a non-European auto brand that take that title. So this is something not Ford, not GM, not Toyota, anyone else of the guys outside Europe has ever been able to do this, has the best-selling car in a year in Europe, electric or not. So I think it's pretty amazing what Tesla has done here with the Model Y.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but that's just the best-selling crossover SUV. That's not, or maybe that's the best-selling EV. Which was it again?
Just the best-selling, period.
The best-selling model. Well, but what if you include 5 different types of Toyota Corolla and just call them all Corollas, including the Toyota Corolla Cross, which is looks like a Model Y. That's like lumping all of Tesla's cars with the word model in the name.
Yeah, and
1.8 model sold.
and all VWs actually are the same car. The Passat, the VW Golf, the ID Buzz even. Lump them all together. It's perfect.
And soon we will. The criticism I've seen is, well, yeah, Tesla's got big numbers on the Model Y, but that's just because they don't have enough models. Guys, when they have enough models, hold on to your butts. When they say, oh, the panel gaps are still unacceptable, can you imagine how many they're going to sell when the fitment reaches your high standards? It's already going to be a little concerning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's also we had Investor Day in March this year where they showed off the unbox method of the next, showed everything about the next generation vehicle except the vehicle itself, which everybody on Wall Street really hated. But I thought it was an amazing event with so much technology and stuff inside that it took me half a year just to get through all the stuff and videos I wanted to create about all this stuff. But they really showed off the next generation vehicle, which I think was also a really big highlight of 2023, the unboxed production method that they are about to launch, or actually working on, as Elon has said, in their Texas factory already.
I had a chance to talk with an engineer about Unboxed when it was first announced, and I said, it looks so simple, it sounds so simple, how come no one's done it? And he said, oh, the only reason no one's done it is because it's impossible. If you look at the way cars have historically been made, you can't do Unboxed with stamped metal. The stamps all have to be one piece. You can't do it any other way. And I said, well, great, but we've got castings now. Other companies are starting to do castings. Why wouldn't they also do Unboxed? And he said, oh, actually, there's a good answer to that. It's because you can't. It's impossible. Because if you put all those pieces together, then you've got to still feed through all the hydraulic system for the braking and the steering. You've got to feed through the wiring harness, which you can't do in little pieces. And then we hear 48 volt comes out, and I called him up and said, does this change anything? He goes, yeah, this changes half of everything. Because now you're steering, you no longer need hydraulics, and now your wiring is all low voltage. You can just clip it together with like LAN cables, basically. And I said, so is there a reason it's still impossible? He goes, yeah, you still need hydraulics for the brake. And I said, what about brake by wire? He goes, that would make it possible. Because now you no longer have systems that are required to contiguously run the length of the vehicle, and it could all work. And my thought is, the best brakes are no brakes. If a car can get you from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, it can get you back down to 0 in 3 seconds, with the only concern being, well, what if the battery's already full and you don't have any space to regen? And the answer was pointed out to me that you just burn it off in waste heat. That's what brakes are doing anyway, is converting kinetic energy into thermal energy. Just pump it out through the system. Leave 5% in the battery as a buffer, and away you go. You've got no brakes. So really, the brake by wire remains in place, and the fail-safe is the best brakes are no brakes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. That's one theory you've mentioned to me, and I always quoted you like I should, like, because it's like not my theory, but yeah, it's interesting and also you should do a big video about that and cover that with talking about an engineering expert on with braking systems or something. This would be very interesting, because I think this is very juicy actually, because Tesla in the new production methods they are targeting at, with we kind of take it up right now, or already pulling it to in the episode right now with the Cybertruck. Of course, we're hinting at that a little bit more, and yeah, it makes sense that the system is so unprecedented, because then they can build out the skateboard like they want. The distance of the wheels can change. They can make a camper van or whatever, a van, a cyber van, which I still hope that they're going to keep the styling and stuff like this. So it's going to be very amazing with the unbox process, what we've seen, and with the new processes we've seen with the Cybertruck as well. And Lars, maybe you also want to comment here.
Yeah, I think, well, when they delivered the Cybertruck, all the things we have seen after, pretty much, because they didn't talk too much about all the engineering stuff at the event, which was a shame, because I think that was so interesting what Sandy Monroe has done, the interviews with all the guys from Tesla and with Elon Musk and so on. I think we got a lot of insights on how this car was actually made, and the reviews we have seen from Hagerty and Top Gear and Marcus Brownlee. So, yeah, we got a lot of information afterwards, and kind of saw that, this is what they're going to do for the unbox method. They have steer by wire, brake by wire, and as Brian says, just brake with the engine. So, yeah, they have all the pieces now ready to make this unbox production method a reality, and that is really going to change, the whole industry.
So
could you share the screen, Lars? Could you share the screen that I've
Yeah.
put up? Sorry, Brian. Yeah, go on, Brian. I just
There
wanna-
are, there are no vehicles I'm aware of right now that are using brake-by-wire yet, because apparently it is 99 and a bunch of nines good, but not 100. But having electric motors gets you around that last 0.9 perhaps. But all the pieces are coming together. And the neat thing about the reason we haven't seen what the compact is going to look like is because, in part, it doesn't matter what it looks like, and Cybertruck proves that. You don't have to build a car-looking car to sell in outrageous numbers. You can allow the form to follow the function. And I wonder how many people viewing this haven't seen this video and don't know what we're talking about. But I would speculate the number is pretty low. But it's such a clever system, the unbox, because you're not climbing into the car holes to put it together. You just build it in modules and away you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's going to
absolutely.
speed up the process pretty amazingly. I thought that was brilliant when they showed this off at the Vesta Day. I was pretty mind blown that they were going to try to do this.
Absolutely.
Didn't know how they're going to do this, but the Cybertruck has really revealed a lot of stuff, and of course, Brian's videos as well.
Absolutely, it's a technical marvel almost what they do, and it's so interesting to see how they push the limits. And I'm on a theory of this that, because I compare that all the time with the German car manufacturers, of course, and it's for me, why is that they can't improve? Because this is such a nut for me to crack. Why is it? Because I try to give the unique German perspective on Tesla, and since the VW is such a big player, or was a big, or is still, but you know what I mean. It looks a little bit dire now that they get rid of workers more and more, and the decline is there. I always keep bringing them up, but I think it's such an interesting reference point of like German stagnation, kind of. And yeah, I think it's very hardwired to the culture of the Americans that they really also have in decision making. They're a little bit different. The Germans are very hierarchical, structured, but still they're very egalitarian in the decision making. So the leader is just voted, and then
Have
but
you
it's like a
seen
puppet.
this? Have you seen the sheer size of their management meetings?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And the number of meetings, of course, and the consensus, because the Germans theorize. Okay, never mind, but you get my point, what I mean. In theory, they plan everything ahead, and the decision is made at the end, really way far at the end. And then they are so inflexible of changing now because they is decided. And Americans tend to decide like in the next day or 3 days, and then they just start doing stuff, and then suddenly they make the decision to change course and are more agile. That's why design thinking ideation methods weren't invented in Germany, by the way. Yeah, so that's a big deal actually, and I think that's also something. And you also have the notion, you have this kind of thing: united we stand, divided we fall, and this takes part into the notion that the leadership in the end has to decide something and is like a big equalizer. So you have like a totalitarian guy there that actually decides in the end, or just like Elon Musk just says, no, we're going to throw everything out of the window. We're going to do it this way. If it needs to be done to move fast, actually. And I think this is also something that accelerates this so much. That's some of the theories I still want to go into, but I don't want to nerd out here in this episode too much, because it's gonna explode. We're gonna sit here tomorrow. Yeah, just wanted to share it a little bit.
But that was all the news for this year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost.
Nothing else.
And by the way, in the comments, guys, we would love to have you tell us what you think the biggest news stories are, so we can consider the possibility.
Yeah, what's that actually? That's pretty. Is that Mars? What is that? Yeah. Of course.
I think that's coffee, I think.
Yeah, that's that's how coffee is made. Oh, interesting. That's what happens. Okay, Lars, maybe you can jump in here. What is happening here? What is that?
That
is that CGI?
Space. Yeah, you would think, because there is nothing that looks like this beast out there. But I think actually one of the biggest surprises for me with the Cybertruck here has been the engineering behind it, because it looked crazy and we all knew that, and we knew it was going to be tough steel and all that stuff. But I think Jason from Haggerty and his review of it really dived into some of the engineering behind it, and his mind was blown. And he's kind of like a real petrol head, and kind of like he said in an podcast as well, that he came into this hating the Cybertruck and everything it stood for, but came away from it loving it, just because Tesla didn't have to go this far out creating such a new technology all the way through from the ground up. They could just have come out with their Plaid Model S drivetrain and put it in here and everybody would be happy. But they really came through with something very unique, with steer-by-wire, 48-volt architecture, the 1 gigabit Ethernet ring around the car. And yeah, and then we have seen Sandy Munro go through the production line as well. And I was quite amazed that every time they went to a new place, it was like, yeah, this is the first of a kind, or this has never been done before. And Sandy's mind was blown. And when Sandy's mind gets blown about production, it says something.
And I would add that Jason Camisa from Haggerty, also his background is in engineering. And so I have a lot of respect when he says that I got to talk with the engineers. They showed me I could ask serious questions and get real answers. And he's right. They could have. I assume that the Cybertruck we saw at the unveiling was a Model S with a different top. That's a normal way to build a functional prototype. And they could have absolutely pushed that out. The problem is it wouldn't have been very exciting. And honestly, I wonder why they didn't, but then they could have refined it into what it is today. Certainly couldn't have taken too much longer, but they never would have been able to get it under 100, 120. And the fact that it's at 100, 120 today is just because they're trying to burn through as many orders at the highest price possible, like they've done in the past. And I'm now seeing my fear when the reservations opened on day one and it was just $100. Yeah, I thought, should I? Nah, I'm not gonna, because it's too ugly and scary and I don't know what to think yet. And then once I warmed up to it, there were already 1 million people in line. So I thought, I'm not going to reserve, because I'm afraid that, like the 3, they're not going to go in order of first in, first out, but they're going to go by based on your budget. And it appears they're kind of doing that. It looks like they might be up to 50,000 in terms of invitations. And that's not how many they're planning on selling in the next couple months.
Yeah, and we also just heard that I think it was Matthew that said they had like 10,000 new orders every day, and I think there's Elon's World or something on X said that it was probably more like 10,000 a week in his calculations. He was following it quite closely, but still, no matter what, that's a lot of orders every single week coming on top of the 2 million vehicles. I'm kind of wondering, what are Tesla going to do? How are they going to manage this demand? Because it's kind of insane to have this much pre-orders for a vehicle.
Whatever the numbers are, it's safe to say that the number of new reservations they're getting per week likely exceeds cumulative Hummer sales to date. And the question with what they're going to do with them is, I think what I expect to see is them to put in a second line as soon as the batteries are definitely not going to be the bottleneck, because with the Model Y, they weren't planning on building it in Texas to start, but the demand was so high they had no choice. In Berlin, they were planning to build the 3 and the Y, and the Y demand was so high, they just built Model Y. And what I expect to see is, until something's out, you don't know for sure. And Elon, I'm sure, was confident this would sell well, but in the back of your head, you say, we still have to plan in case it isn't. Do we want to have 10 lines built out and then find that no one likes it? And now that they can see, no, this demand appears to be very real. The reviews all appear to be very good. The customers who are actually taking delivery. There was a couple who bought one. It's their first Tesla. And the first thing they did was hop in the car and go for a road trip. And the first thing they found, they said, the only complaint we have, because we've never driven a Tesla or an EV, is when you get up to the speeds a lot of people like to drive, your range gets really impacted. And yes, it does. So like, okay, so we'll just bring it down to a more rational, reasonable speed and actually get some range. And that is a frustration people will have to deal with. But even them, with no background, they gave it very high marks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Also experiencing it on my own as well, the way the Teslas work and are integrated, how you kind of interact with it or not interact with it because so many things are thought out already. And yeah, this is also the notion. They Tesla improved very fast and they produce a product that isn't actually so similar to other cars. Actually, it's a different kind of way of thinking. They've implemented it very hardcore. I would say a lot of software from the software engineering side, from the thinking process, is also in there. Not just engineering, which is superb already, but with the software engineering mindset, they went through this thing is amazing and astonishing. And they were fast movers. That's why they had panel gaps. They had these things. And also on my Model 3 Highland, I'm going to do a review there. There are some slight misalignments, but just 1 millimeter here and there, nothing big, and I would say totally acceptable, nothing bad, and totally out of the park. Because, of course, they improved the quality, and they will, when they produce more and more of those things in masses, then the things will be better and better, of course, yeah.
I don't know if they will be better because I think a millimeter is within tolerance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think once you're within tolerance, you're within it.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've never had a car that was completely straight, that was without looking back. The only cars I've seen that were perfect were at General Motors headquarters, where they have a little display in the lobby, and they've got their flagship cars out there. And I was like, well, I have to go look. And I checked, and every gap, every panel was perfect. And I had a former Ford engineer with me, and he said, oh, they spent a little bit of time making sure every one of these cars had zero flaws. And that's why I enjoy getting out on the road. I do a lot of that, as you guys know. This year was no exception. I went a few different places. I've been to Texas a couple times this year. I've been to fully charged in 2 different countries this year, and I've been to Michigan. And Michigan is where I've been able to establish a bunch of contacts within the automotive industry, some of whom periodically share with me insights that maybe they shouldn't. But the bigger thing is, when I have a question, because I had asked a service center manager yesterday, looking at the Cybertruck, why did they get rid of the center seat in the front row? Why is it a 5-seater instead of 6? And he said, well, I'm pretty sure it's because you can't put an airbag where the screen is. Mm-hmm. And I said, would you believe I actually talked to a retired Takata engineer who told me, yes, they can. They absolutely can do that. So that's an advantage to getting to know so many people with so much experience that I couldn't possibly have myself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. And I also agree the things they can do with airbags is insane. And it's crazy. They can just jump over the screen with the airbag and then let it expand. Yeah, it's totally doable.
Yeah, you just make it kidney bean shaped, which is what they already do with the passengers. Since there's a risk of something being in your lap, and really it's your face they need to stop.
Interesting. Yeah. So, Lars, what was your biggest thing of the Cybertruck in that sense?
Yeah, I think it was the whole engineering of it. All the surprises of a 48-volt architecture. It wasn't a surprise at all. Talked about it at the Investor Day, that it would do 48-volt architecture in the Cybertruck. But I think I was just blown away by the engineering of the Cybertruck. I thought that was so cool what they have done there. So yeah, if there wasn't 2 million and reservation holders, and I knew it would come to Europe. I would love to have. Because
Yeah.
at the time when I saw it the first, like, oh no, that's too bulky and crazy for me.
I was
Now-
like,
now
oh
what
my God, this was
this
the
is
calling I was looking for. That's the future. Yeah, since I'm a designer, I'm totally hooked on this thing, and I'm very like visually. When I'm triggered visually, it's like my brain kind of dysfunctions, and but overall, the thing is a great product itself. I knew that as well, but I've pre-ordered one immediately in comparison. That's why I'm a very early reservation holder in Europe. So I hope, and Lars is already hooked. So let's see
Would love
with
to
the
have-
camping mode and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I wanted to share.
One
Yeah, sorry.
advantage it also has is that it, of course, has Tesla's charging network. And
Yeah.
that was another thing this year that kind of, when Ford in May said that we're going to join Tesla's North American charging standard. And it kind of has become the North American charging standard. So a very fitting name. Because now everybody has joined except Stellantis is the one that is missing, and maybe Mazda, I think so as well. But other than that, everybody, including Mary Barra and Volkswagen and everybody else, has joined the charging network. That's pretty cool, in my opinion. Another thing that happened this year.
That gives me concern for 2024 sales for anything that doesn't have the NACS handle. Are you really going to buy a car that's going to require an adapter immediately? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm also so sad that Europe don't, or because I've seen the question here in Lars's chat as well. The North American charging standard won't be adapted soon, I would say, in Europe, because when regulation, this thing is already regulated. They had a problem with, we need to do something. We have different standards, so they have this DC thing on the lower end, and on top they have a different charging thing. I'm not a technician in that sense, electrician, stuff like this. I'm stupid in that sense. But they kind of, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, but aligned a little bit differently. And more or less, no, it's not the same thing, but you get my point.
Kind of one charging
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. It's configured
not gonna
differently in the it's smaller in the Tesla one. It was way better. But cooling is an issue, and some have problems with that, I would say, and stuff like this. But I don't think Europe will just, because when regulation already hit somewhere, it's hard to get it away again. So
it's
my
just
assumption
gonna
is
stop
no
at the-
NACS in Europe.
Yeah, and it's also called the North American charging standard. So
You cannot do that. Especially in Germany, we cannot accept this. This is North American. We are already furious that we have to adapt it in the US. Mercedes and everybody.
Some people here in Denmark, there was actually an article where they talked about that the Cybertruck would never come to Europe because it had a different charging plug. I was like, what? You do know that the Tesla Model 3 have a different charging plug in Europe? and
No,
in the
it
US.
can't be solved. Impossible.
It's not
Of
gonna
all-
The turning lights are red and not yellow. That's not possible to change, possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a gentleman swear up and down that there's no way. And I said, they can just change the bulbs to amber. He said, no, they can't because I said, they haven't done it. I go, right. You're telling me they haven't put out a request for a prototype for that? Correct. And I know because I work in the business. I go, no, that's not how it works. You don't work in the business to know what every manufacturer in Asia has seen a request for bid on, and Europe. You could be an absolute guru in the US. You might know somebody at all the major companies, but not all the companies, and not in the world. They're not going to tell you of all the dumb things I've ever heard. The doubters and haters are shameless with their lies. It is ridiculous. Hey, real quick, I did want to say, but guys, I just got a message from someone named Telly saying, very annoying, YouTube just unsubscribed me again, Brian. So as a reminder to everybody on wherever you're watching this, if you think you're subscribed, double check, click on the subscribe button and make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube have a tendency over time where subscribers just kind of fall off without knowing. I actually had people say, "Oh, a video from Brian, how cool. I guess he hasn't been publishing for a few months, but he's back." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm here every day."
So make sure, and also the viewers on my channel, the 52 viewers watching right now, please go to Lars and subscribe to him if you're not already, and to My Tesla Weekend, please. So just jump over to them and ring the bell and all the good stuff. Yeah. But I wanted to add something, maybe, if I'm allowed here, because I wanted to share for 1 second, because of the Cybertruck. What I found very interesting was this thing, because Marcus Brownlee did a great review of the interface. And I'm, as a interface design or coming from communication design, this interests me very much, how the usability is. And this is also very similar. The 3D animation, you've already seen that on your phone. If you have a Tesla app and stuff like this, you can turn around your car a little bit. Also in the inside of the screen, you can do that in your Model 3. But I mean, this is crazy also with the real time and stuff like this. And now compare this to the German legacy OEMs. It's pretty, and also Ford and stuff, it's pretty hard to see the difference in that sense. And it makes sense, like just visually, you can adjust the height while parked. Of course, this thing while driving would be a little bit dangerous to have it like this. But that's just a view. Yeah, maybe you can also comment on this, what you thought when you've seen the interface of the Cybertruck.
So, of course, Tesla, your car knows how far down your window is. That's why it's able to do the Christmas light shows. If it didn't have that kind of precision understanding. And kind of separately on that, my kids asked me, the other day we put on the light show for Grandma. And the kids said, "Does this mean there's going to be new light shows with the Cybertruck where it rolls the tonneau and does those things?" And I was like, yep, it does.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so cool. Lars, what's your opinion on the interface?
Yeah, I think the Cybertruck interface is looking really sharp, and I think this is something that Tesla is going to have very uniquely for them compared to the legacy automakers, because I think this was the year that Jim Farley also came out and told everybody to fully charge Robert there, that they had 150 software companies, suppliers. So they don't have just one software user interface that controls everything in the car. They have 150 software suppliers. I know Herbert Diess talked about they had like 50 at one point. I never heard this high number before. Jim talked about it and said that is why it is impossible for us to do a software update, because we have to go ask permission to do it, and they have to make sure it works with all the other and they don't talk together. So that's why they have to build their own software to do it, as Jim said. And he also said, remember, we have never done software before. So
brand new to it
for Tesla. Yeah.
Well, Lars, did you not hear, Jan and I talked about this recently, how many software engineers Volkswagen hired? What's the correct number? What's a good number?
10.
10? 10 sounds good?
10K.
Oh, 10,000. 10,000.
That's how software works.
That's all the king's horses and all the king's men trying to mend an egg. That's not the right number.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. And also working in design teams, also, or sometimes it's similar with interface design as well, for example, or software engineering as well. It's when your number of people gets higher and higher, it kind of gets more complicated to manage everything, because then everybody does a smaller part, and that's not how software works. You need 10, or let's have maybe let's have 50 or 80 software engineers that are hardcore, and that's it. You don't really need more than that, I would say. So
that is one on Tesla's really advantages.
Yeah, it's the core competency.
Yeah. And that's also why one of the big surprises to me this year, if I can change the subject, because when speaking of software and Tesla's engineering, I think this little bad boy here was quite the surprise for me, that they suddenly, out of the blue, suddenly showed off.
Oh, what's that?
Well, it's a new Tesla model. It's very small.
Where do you sit?
No, you just put it on. It's a seat. I was quite amazed.
On
how
the
far-
shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, it can carry you.
Yeah.
I was blown away when I saw this. How far they have gone. We have to remember that less than 2 years ago they had nothing, and now they have
Right.
a robot that can walk and do crazy stuff. And now
But
Brian-
People
Lars-
saying they're
But-
the
but
people
La-
saying it's still far behind Boston Dynamics are ignoring
Yeah,
that,
where are the backflips? God damn it, where are the backflips?
right? And what are these extra flippy things? Shouldn't it have tennis balls for fists
Yeah.
like Boston Dynamics?
Yeah. When like Scott Walter was on my channel and the video totally blew up, as you guys probably know, or Brian at least, we talked about that a little bit, and yeah, it's crazy. He also said when was doing backflips part of the job description when you worked at a factory. So this thing doesn't need to make backflips. This thing doesn't have to run pretty fast, of course, because it's for the factory floor and it has to be useful right from the gate. And I mean, this is the most useful thing you can see here right now. And yeah, but guys, didn't you know actually that the Tesla bot is just CGI that we've seen? I mean, in my comments, people ranted about this, of course, how it moves and they dissected the lighting and stuff like this. No. This was kind of real. I've checked it also. I'm also from I'm also from video editing and stuff like this very much, and I'm working in the field. And no, it's not CGI, but of course you need to see it in person to be finally you can accept that this thing is real. But also talking to Scott Walter and the people he knows, that people saw that in person and seen those movements already. So yeah. It is real, and it's crazy how great it is.
I've seen those comments as well. It's clearly fake. Nope, not clearly. That's not what clearly means. And we know they're sandbagging production because right there on screen is a red Tesla sandbag. Go back like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Right on the entering screen right there. Tesla sandbag confirmed.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So there, but in addition, it's fake and we know it. Look, buddy, I've looked at the rest of your comments and I'm not listening to anything you got to say. I did have another guy who said, well, if they could just make it walk better, more human-like. Why? What difference does it make? If it had wheels, I'd still be happy. I don't need it to have, what I don't understand why it doesn't have, is I want 2 more arms. Because I'll tell you, as a human, there are times when I say, somebody come help me. I need someone to hold a thing while I'm doing another thing and not falling off the ladder.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
things.
Yeah, that's just like the user scenarios that you've had on your channel with the Cybertruck. I have to haul, I have to get my family there, and I have to pull like this amount of carry-on weights and stuff like this. So, yeah.
And I always drive 1,000 miles at a time, fully loaded, at very high speeds. I'm very dangerous. Don't you understand?
And if it doesn't check these boxes, then it's not a good product. Actually, but it can swim. Come on, it can swim when the Cybertruck can swim when you add the seal. So the seal that they're gonna offer to can go boating with that thing. Not for long, and nobody would recommend it, I would say, but you could do it. Yeah. But yeah, the Tesla bot is crazy. Yeah, going back to the topic.
Yeah, also because like one thing people are normally forgetting when they look at the bot is the brain that is actually controlling this thing. As Elon also showed a version 12 of their full self-driving this year, and that is
Yes.
100% neural network controlling that car. So they are no longer programming the vehicle just like the robot. They're just showing it what to do. Like Elon said, they haven't taught it how to read a stop sign, but it can read a stop sign and stops at a stop sign. So and they put that brain into this guy. So now they can show him. I would love to see a demonstration if that thing there with the egg is actually a human being has shown it to do that, and then it try to replicate that, or it's just
Because
staged.
because what will be more interesting is when they give it a novel task to complete. Put an egg into the egg holder, and it says, egg holder. What is that? Oh, well, that's an egg. That must be the egg holder. And that's where you get some fun mistakes that you would expect to see with a child or a brand new AI, where it says, where it like tries to put it in your hand. You're an egg holder, right?
Yeah.
I saw you hold it when you came in.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see what this guy can do by the end of 2024, though, with the speed they have had and the progress they had so far.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Any other big news this year, or are we ready to start talking about next year?
There is one thing I would wanted to push, and that's for, I would say you could consider that for next year, because it's similar to the topics we already talked about. Because of course, for me, the biggest news was, of course, FSD 12 is a good one. That was totally under the radar. Nobody really checked. Wait a second, haven't you watched the live stream that Elon Musk did? No, because it was recorded jankily. And this is overlooked. FSD 12 is totally overlooked. What is happening there? No code. It's actually generated. It's gonna be pushed. Like the lines of code that are actually run on in the car are actually very small and generated. That's pretty awesome, and it trained itself. That's crazy. And already we've heard for the next year also, but in the last bits of December, we've heard that workers of Tesla already are testing FSD 12, and this is a big.
Yeah, wasn't it 15 of them? Oh, 15,000. Yes.
Exactly.
It's the legacy.
It's just fun to exaggerate by 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will have confidence in it when I can experience it myself. Hopefully it is as good as we hope. I had a chance to talk with someone knowledgeable on AI generally yesterday, and I was asking, does V12 mean that everything prior to V12 is thrown out? And he said no, for two reasons. The first is that 12 is likely trained on 11 and everything earlier. But the bigger one is the people who enabled it to get to the point where 12 could be written is a team you could not have put together without doing all the earlier work. So these are the same people. So the stepping stones are still there.
Yeah, and now they also got the Dojo computer up and running this year that is helping feed all this data they got into the neural network and make it become even better at driving.
Absolutely, and the Dojo computer, of course, I think Brian is cut off. He's back. Okay, now he's back. Perfect.
I'm back.
But yeah, perfect. But also, the Dojo computer will be like is the biggest thing. It's important for the robot, for the Tesla bot. It's important for FSD 12, and we're gonna see more and more of that. And people don't really realize that they saw real life vision here, guys. This is a big deal. That's AGI that they're nearing in that narrow segment that they are targeting, and vision isn't actually a bad thing to start. It's a huge thing actually, and pretty difficult to solve this problem. But they pushed it, and if Elon wouldn't always exaggerate the timelines, I think they would take even longer now. It would be further out, but now it's already deployed at Tesla employees. So this is crazy. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Exciting to see.
What are we looking forward
Yes.
to in 2024?
2024, who knows, man? I'm not a time traveler.
Oh, damn it. I knew Brian
so-
was a time traveler. That's just what a
I'm gonna
time
t-
traveler would say.
It is exactly what a time traveler will have said. So in terms of, I expect the compact will be unveiled. Maybe not produced, definitely not sold. But the timeline, looking at, now that we've heard from Elon directly from more than just one source, that there will be some compact production in Texas. We believe that extension to the south of the building is for exactly that. The construction timeline looks like they should be able to be past the point of tooling and into early pre-production by the end of this year. So I think we will see something. I think the drone pilots will be asked not to film it. And that is a thing that they do in Texas. If you want if you don't want your flight permission revoked, you will not show what we tell you not to show. They were asked when they were zooming in on the crash test facility there. They got a talking to from security. The message is, if you wish to retain your flying privileges, you will just zoom past it like you used to, like nothing is there. And they agreed because they don't want to lose access. So I think we will be seeing, and I know there have been times where the drone pilots have been told, something is happening Tuesday morning, don't fly. And they've said, okay. And I tried to get a pilot to tell me, to give me more specifics, and he declined. So, which is smart on his part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
No
so I
comment.
think we will
That's always a
see.
good thing.
That was I think literally it's in a recorded segment from Investor Day. Right before Investor Day, I held a round table with the drone pilots in Texas, and it is on YouTube. And I think Joe's comment was no comment to that question. What are you guys thinking you will see in 24 for the compact?
I think that, I hope that they're gonna go with also producing in Berlin, which is, of course, the compact is a huge deal here in Europe because it's a compact. We need compacts in Europe, and also, of course, in China. I would say China and Berlin. Maybe, I don't know, maybe China first, then Germany, because also China is such a big export hub. If they cannot make the production ready, because, of course, Gigafactory Berlin actually expanded north in Grünheide. So, or the expansion plans were there, and let's see what they are going to build there. But I think Brian has, of course, more insights into the factory over there than me. So that's why I have you always on my channel to talk about something. No.
Yeah, I think because thanks to Elon Musk for saying that they are building this thing, also because of the book about Elon, where they also mentioned that they are building the production line in Texas. They're not going to wait for the Mexico factory to be finished. So I agree with Brian. I think we're going to see something revealed by the end of the year. Hopefully this time it will be showing some kind of car that everybody wants to see and saying, we are coming with this car, maybe in the beginning of 2024, 2025 it would be. So yeah, and I'm just so excited for this car because it's not going to be the car. It's not itself. It's not going to be like the Cybertruck. Going to be that exciting. But the production of it and the importance of this affordable EV that everybody is screaming about. That I still hear comments about like, yeah, I'm just waiting for the affordable EV. And we do have affordable EVs, but they're just not good EVs. So that's a big difference because here we're going to get the Tesla with its software, with its safety, with its charging system, with its app, with everything. But they're just going to tone it down with the luxury features, probably not have a screen in the back and ventilated seats and I don't know, whatever they're not going to put into the car to make it more affordable. But it's going to be an affordable Tesla, and that's quite exciting to have this cheaper car because if they can do it for $25,000 or euros here in Europe, that is actually in my country that would be very affordable car in general, and it would make no sense in my country whatsoever to buy a nice car anymore if that's the case.
Absolutely.
So my question is, will it be a model? Or will it be a variety of models that will be announced this year?
I think one model to begin with.
I also think one model with the steering wheel, but what I also think is since they're gonna, I assume, implement steer-by-wire, brake-by-wire, and I also think that the Cybertruck will get brake-by-wire as well, soon, when they have it ready, I would say. I mean, Brembo already did it, so there are possibilities to do that. And you also said something about the overall fail-safes that we have with the acceleration, which was a very nice theory actually. And yeah, I would say that we're going to see a lot of varieties. You can make a right-hand drive, a left-hand drive, no-hand drive, backside drive. It's just a joystick. You can actually put it everywhere you like. And this flexibility is such a game changer in that sense. And also, when they go with the stainless steel design, which I hope still, because I like the cyber design, the simplicity of it, also the thought about it, getting rid of the paint shop. reduces the size of the factory. I think Tesla will go more and more into this route, in my opinion. But yeah, this depends because it will be easy. The compact car will be very easy to manufacture. It's like a matchbox car, almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an original Jeep. Those were very easy to manufacture. DRK has pointed out that Elon had originally said that each design studio would be designing their own vehicles. He never actually said that they would be for the compact and that there would be compact varieties. That's a theory I've been pushing because I think it would make sense to have a platform and then allow each country its own thing. And then you can export them between and sell them at a premium. I think for 2024, since we're just talking about that, I also think one model announced is reasonable, but I think it will become many things. So based on the fact that compacts are very good sellers worldwide, that they are more accessible to a larger percentage of the addressable market, all that, if they built a factory in Mexico and Texas and China and Berlin, could they sell them all?
Yeah.
I think that the demand for this vehicle is off the charts. We have been talking about the valley of death or the peaked up, secret pinned up demand for EVs because people are waiting for this car. Not everybody can afford the sticker price of a Tesla. And as we have seen, even the old legacy automakers are having a bit of trouble with the demand for their EVs. And even CNBC talked about it yesterday or a couple of days ago that people want a Tesla. They not necessarily want an EV. But when they come with an affordable EV and people start to realize the true cost of ownership and how easy it is, you just wake up every morning and your car's charged. It's just so convenient with an EV. And you can get that for an affordable price. I think this is going to be off the chart, the demand for this kind of car. But I hope Tesla would show this one car, this one model, and then talk about the opportunities that this modular car production give them. That they can build a van of it, they can build other compact car, they can build whatever they want to because they are not constrained by anything anymore because it's just batteries and sides and front and back and yeah.
Absolutely. The thing is, if they, because people have said, well, right, but aren't there more factories coming in more locations? Maybe India's coming, maybe Thailand is coming, but let's just say Berlin starts cranking out 1 million compacts. 1 million compacts for the European market is not enough. That is, Europe is a large market. 1 million for all of Latin America is probably enough, but they would also be shipped into the US and even elsewhere. 1 million out of Shanghai, those would be gobbled up instantly in the domestic market. And you could double those numbers, get to 2 million a factory. All of those would be the compact market. What I'm getting at is pretty large.
Yeah. I mean,
and I
Italy and France runs on the compact, like literally. Yeah. And the van category, they like the small vehicles and vans. That's like delivery vans. That's what you see all the time, most of the time. Germany is a little bit different here, but most of the time.
I think one of the crazy thing to think about with the little $25,000 car is that not only does it have all the great technology of Tesla and safety features and all that kind of stuff, but you could buy the full self-driving package for this car. You don't find many, low-cost ICE cars like the Toyota Aygo or something like that with any cool features. It is all very basic because they don't earn a lot of money on selling these things. So you don't get driver assist feature in a Toyota Aygo or a Volkswagen Up or any of these.
Or safety features. Safety
features for that matter.
Yeah.
So this is a $25,000 car that would be able to drive itself properly at some point.
I saw a very silly article the other day that compared off-road capabilities between some traditional truck and a bone stock Rivian. And I was thinking, there's a stock Rivian with no options still has a lot of options. You guys did you guys pay for the premium sound package?
No.
No, that's not a thing.
Yeah. No,
It comes
actually,
with
yeah.
amazing sound. Yeah, there's. Oh, did you guys pay extra for the GPS?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Dealer, but I had to give him cash. I was pretty confused. The dealer just gave me,
I had to pay
but it was in there. It was
$2,000.
in there when I drove off the lot. So
Yeah, in my old Master,
that's
only like 6 years ago, I had to pay $2,000 to get GPS navigation in my Master. I was like, what? I got it for free on my phone. What are you talking about?
yeah,
I'm not gonna pay for
that's true.
navigation. And that's also the one you just bought, Jan, the Tesla Model 3 refreshed. The standard range, the entry level.
Yeah,
It's
everything's standard on the thing. Just like
yeah, you get everything. You get a
no
screen,
extras,
vent
sadly.
kits,
Yeah,
everything. The only thing you don't get is four-wheel drive and only 170 kilowatts of
yeah,
charge.
that's
It's
so slow.
amazing what you get. Because if you look at the Germans, especially Mercedes is very good at this, when they have an entry level to try to make an affordable Mercedes, if you can say that, but you don't get anything. You have to pay for
Yeah.
everything extra. You want wheels? Okay, great.
yeah.
I'm glad
If you
that they
go
include
to-
batteries. God damn.
If you can go to the configurator for something like even a Taycan, you will find that the price can go as high as you want it to. There are $20,000 paint options. But
Yeah, my wife was actually trying to look at, I think it was the Audi at some point, just to see what the price was. But before she get through all the extras add-ons, she just gave up. It's like, nah, this is taking too long for me to just find out what the price is actually going to be. It's like, she gave up. Okay, great. But with a Tesla, you just get everything included. And that includes a little next generation vehicle that is going to be, yeah, that's going to be something very, very special.
Yeah.
so for
Absolutely.
those tuning in late, Jan only recently bought his Model 3 refresh, his 3 Fresh Highland, which means you haven't had an opportunity yet to share with your family some of the hidden features that they may not know about. What I enjoyed doing was when my family was taking too long to get into the car, for crying out loud, we have places to be, I turned on the boombox
Yeah.
and gently reminded them that we have to go.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, those features. I just tested them yesterday night, actually, on the parking lot, because I was also a thing. I didn't even own an EV before that, of course. And the interesting thing was that I've parked the car, plugged it into a third-party charger. Even it wasn't even a Tesla supercharger. Went to the store, bought my groceries, came back. The thing was loaded up 50%, and I was on 100% again. I had a 50% charge. I charged to 100%. Effed around in the parking lot with the boombox and stuff like that. Drove. Of course, the store closed then already. It was 10 p.m. But yeah, but it was an industrial area, so I didn't annoy anyone. But it was fun. Like the boombox, the La Cucaracha horn, which you can't play while driving because German regulation. Thank you again. So just so you know. Yeah, but yeah, overall, I'm super surprised how much fun it is actually. But I'm missing the Steam integration. I want Steam integration, the gaming service Steam. I mean, not Steam engine integration, of course. Please not. I'm enough with burning fossil fuels all the time with my older car. So, yeah. This would be such a game changer, and I think when they release the Model 3 Plaid next year, which also a big thing that I'm looking forward to see actually, but not to own, of course. But yeah, that's also one. Maybe they can integrate that more because the Model S and the Model X had Steam integration, and I'm not sure how the gaming thing. That's something that interests me. I would love to play GTA 5 or something on this thing while charging.
Yeah. And that is a car I'm looking forward to in 2024. Hopefully that will come out in 2024 because Elon has said they had something special and they had so much on the table when they came out with the Model 3 that they didn't put in because they had to get this production hell going. So yeah, I think they have something special for us for the Plaid or whatever they're gonna call it.
So we've got a special guest in the chat. Will from Tesla Jigsaw says, "Oh, nice, Jan. Congratulations. What's your thought on the stock removals? How are you getting on without them?"
God, I'm furious about this. I love buttons as a German, as you know. The buttons have to be everywhere. It's like it has to be a cockpit. How do I change anything? I have to have a physical button for everything because I come from physical engineering and I need buttons. No, I don't need stocks. I'm used to playing on a PS2 control. I'm such a gaming nerd when I was a kid that. I'm getting used to everything. Even when the wheel is turned upside down, I'm going to push the right button to go into the right direction because I figured out how to game it. So I'm good at things like that. I get when people are so used to the stocks and can't wrap their head around. Some people are different in that case. I get it totally. But for my target audience that I am, this thing is like a gamepad. And I love it. I love how you can do that. And I love that they removed the stocks as a minimalist designer. I love that thing so much. I don't like clutter and distractions all the time. I don't need any function. And that's the main thing. Tesla pushes so forward in that thinking that they're going to be very radical in removing stuff because they're thinking about the vision down the line of 10 years or now we are so near, maybe 2 years, maybe 1 year. We will see more and more products that are so revolutionary, and I think they should keep doing this. Of course, for people who are
very easy when I had the car for 2 days, when I got the chance to test it out, I find it very cool actually. With just the buttons there. I thought it was a very neat little product, the steering wheel itself, and the haptic feedback from those buttons was really, really good.
Yeah. What do you think about the
big shout
removal
out
of
to Tesla Jigsaw?
Yeah,
go check his
absolutely.
channel out. Great
Yeah,
guy.
please do.
So I am on team stocks, and I understand it's fine that you guys are wrong, and I appreciate that. There are roundabouts
always.
in my town. I think once we've got, for the Cybertruck, I think you can make it work. My frustration would be, is the automatic wipers don't work. Well, actually, no, that's not fair. There's only 2 times they don't work. It's when it's raining and when it's not raining, but also during the daytime and the night. So they're on sometimes, they're off when they shouldn't be. It's ridiculous. So that's a problem.
And the speed is a problem in the Model 3. Yeah. When it rains heavily, it's just like, okay, now you're dead. Okay, and then it swipes again.
Right. Well, and then FSD's yelling at you. Hey, man, I can't see. I'm like, talk to yourself. What are you talking to me for?
Yeah. Grab the wheel.
So that's ridiculous.
Wipe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing I had to say to my kids when they were little. But but on the blinkers, for now, I mean, it's a solution in search of a problem. And I say bring them back because Elon says if you don't have to bring something back, you're not cutting enough. Bring it back. You cut too much. Yeah, Jeff is saying the wipers apparently got better in the latest update. I mean, sure. We can go with
I
that.
haven't seen it. I've just been driving today in bad weather, and I was angry at it again. Like, come on, wipe. Damn it.
Yeah.
But also the getting removal of stocks, like you said, in the Cybertruck makes sense because steer by wire, the turning radius of the steering wheel is different. So that means if you're just like this, you kind of push the. I mean, it's difficult when you're upside down, of course. Yeah, of course. It's when you're not paying attention or something, it's difficult. But
well, in roundabouts, your wheel is going to be in an unknown position when you need to exit, and you need to use your blinker to exit a roundabout, or you will be driving in an unpredictable way, which is what causes accidents and confusion. So,
that's true.
But So I will be fine without stocks in the future, but today I am not. So I think we've talked about this a bit. What other things are we expecting to see in 2024?
Well, we are expecting and hearing rumors that by New Year they're going to shut down the production line over in Shanghai to upgrade a little bit for the Juniper Model Y.
I haven't seen anything that would actually support it.
Next. Yeah. Do you think
I
we're
don't.
gonna
I
come
don't.
in
I don't think
2024?
it's happening in January. I haven't seen anything that would support it. Now, I don't have any sources in Shanghai, but we haven't seen any road testing. Before Highland happened in the U.S., I knew it was happening in China because I had seen parts, I'd seen configuration, I'd seen
Yep.
actual real evidence, and I haven't seen anything on Juniper, and it doesn't make sense to do it right now. Right now, they're focused, as far as I can tell, all hands on deck, getting the Cybertruck ramped and then moving into model compact, the compact model, the Q. They'll need to, and the Y is still selling strong. It's still a contemporary vehicle. It's still newer than the Model 3. I don't think it's happening in a week. Is my take.
Yeah, I think the
But
article
maybe
talked about
next year.
like production in mid 2024. Do you think it's gonna come in 2024 or not at all in 2024?
My guess is not in 24, but
Okay.
if you'd have asked me about Model 3 1 year ago today, I'd have said not
Yeah.
in 23.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
never know with Tesla.
You never know with Tesla. It's a totally
What
surprise
about
package.
the ramp of the Cybertruck and the semi truck? How are we expecting that in 2024?
I'll let you go first because I got
Yeah,
some
j-
thoughts.
So I would say that the ramp of the Cybertruck will be surprisingly fast, I would say. And the semi, I'm not pretty sure because I haven't looked into that so much. That's where Brian's takes will be very interesting right now. But yeah, the Cybertruck overall will be very interesting as well. I'm very focused on how many reservations were from which part of the world is very important for me because many people say, oh, it will never come to Europe. That's something I think is I think there could be actually a market. We don't really know how many reservations we have because as Brian stumbled into a certain Christmas party when he wasn't invited again at certain unveiling events or delivery events, I mean. So, yeah, and he got confirmation. Maybe you want to tell it that the lawyers of Tesla worked on something somewhere. And why are they working on that when they don't want to sell there? Doesn't make sense to me.
Marketing 101 is when you bring a bunch of people into town to cover an event, you keep them busy so they don't dig for their own stories. And Tesla takes the opposite approach. It's a free-for-all. Good luck, everybody. Let me know how it goes. This is Thunderdome. So when I go into town and I don't get into events, which is the norm, I go out and seek my own events. And I happened to wander into, my buddy was taking me to pub night, to this pub that he goes to. Thursdays is quiz night, Fridays is a ghost town. We get there and the guy says, you have to park up front. There's no parking in the main lot. And I looked around and said, there's a whole lot of Teslas here. He goes, yeah, it's Austin. I go, no, this is beyond that. This is something else. And he says, you guys here for the event? And we said, yep, that's us.
We're the Tesla guys.
And he actually stopped us at that point and he said, he goes, wait, and he's like, yeah, I come here for the quiz nights. He goes, okay, just go in, get a beer, and then leave. So we go in, we grab a beer, we hide in the back corner, and he comes in, walks right over to us and goes, I talked to them, you're fine. And he means management. And management's like, yeah, we don't care, whatever. So we hung out the rest of the night at a Tesla Christmas party. And I was able to talk to a project head who had just moved over from Europe, who had said that the legal team in Europe has been working on this already for some time, perhaps a year, and that they are incredibly frustrated because Elon said, oh, you know what? Make it work. And they said, make it, but okay, we'll work on it.
But Europe, please. It's Europe.
but the rounded edges, so we'll see. You can't tell me looking at what's the big boxy Mercedes, the G-Wagon?
Yeah.
That's road legal and the Cybertruck isn't. Come on now.
Yeah. that's what I wanted to get into. I didn't want to interrupt the production numbers. Maybe Lars, your prediction for the production numbers. Then we can go. Is Cybertruck legal in Europe? I'm gonna share you something for the end. Maybe it's just a small fun thing. But Lars, please go on with your predictions, because I just wanted to say that Europe could be also a market. We don't know the reservations, how many they were. So maybe they are more than we think. That's my take.
Yeah, definitely.
And Lars?
I also think there's a lot of new technology in the Cybertruck. So the ramp is probably going to be quite slow here in the first half of 2024. But once they get it going, I think it's going to be quite quick suddenly, because it's no paint job and everything is. It looks pretty simple when we go through the production line with Sandy Monroe, what the things they have to do. It's all new, so that's the difficult part. But it all looks kind of simple to put it all together. So hopefully we're going to see a big ramp of Cybertruck this year. And with the demand, I hope they get this thing going as fast as possible.
So I did have a chance to talk to my good friend Bob from Bob's Bibs and Bobs, who makes parts that they sell to Tesla and other manufacturers. And Bob sells a part that goes into the Cybertruck, and their projections, what he's been told, is about 90,000 is the number for the coming 12 months. So the guideline, it could fall well short of that. I think he will be getting revised projections soon, saying, you know what, we're going to try and overshoot that mark. But 90,000 is the number they're looking at, meaning despite its being only the most recent electric pickup to the market, it will be the most common electric pickup on the market in a matter of months.
Yeah, that's insane.
Insane, actually, yeah. Oh, it's so
Well,
awesome. The Cyber.
On delivery day, they sold more than the Hummer sold in all of Q1 by a factor of 5.
Yeah, because they used up all their batteries just for one, because it's double stacked, heavy, inefficient batteries, but 1,000 horsepower that are not usable. Yeah, the efficiency is a great thing. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
when the Hummer is accelerating, people with pacemakers within 30 yards need to beware.
and hammers and everything will stick to this thing because of the magnetic field it will do. Yeah. But guys, one thing. Yeah, sorry, Lars. Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing I'm looking forward to is a special Tesla event in the US. Maybe Brian knows a little bit more about that.
Well, the thing is, there's only going to be like 2 big Tesla events, and the next one coming up isn't until June. It's going to be held in Michigan. If anyone in Michigan is in the chat, please, make your presence known. But in Muskegon, they hold this big event, and they have the best people there, and also me. Yeah, and also me. So that's exciting. Do you care to guess who some of the people who are going to be in attendance speaking, who I am the most excited about?
Elon Musk will come?
Elon Musk has not confirmed. We haven't invited him. We should do that. We should do that. I'm sure he gets to Muskegon all the time. And by the way,
totally.
the city council did confirm a few years back that for the day of these events, it is officially not Muskegon, but Muskegon. Still spelled the same, but you guys can call it whatever you want. We don't care. But you know what? We will reach out and invite him to the event.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll attend.
Absolutely. No, there will
who else will be there?
Yeah, Lars, maybe you have guesses.
Maybe Jan from TeslaFix will be there.
Could be. I'm gonna reach out to him. But I thought I'm just the third My Tesla Weekend channel, and I'm just an AI. Regarding the views when you're on my channel, it seems this way. But still, yeah, of course I will attend.
It's working for Brian.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Well, This year, I did get the exciting opportunity to actually meet Lars in person again. So I know he's real. I did meet someone in Texas who said, I'm just here to confirm how many of you guys are not AI. And I said, forget the A. I'm not convinced we're I, but that's okay. So I've confirmed that Lars is real. Scott Walter has confirmed that Jan is real. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have met Scott in person in Florida last year. So we're starting to. But if you guys, but having Jan on a panel is great, but I feel like that's not enough European representation. What should we do?
Tesla Jigsaw.
Will, if you're still watching, you should come to our event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty far. But no, there's one other special guest who will be there. Who is it? Do you remember? It's Lars from Best in Tesla. Will be joining us in Muskegon in June 15th at Pier Marquette Beach. We have a big event out there. I get to participate. That's a lot of fun. And if you guys don't believe that these people are real, and I don't blame you, they're so amazing. They seem like they were built in a lab. Then you need to come out to the event. It is a free event. That's how awesome it is. That may change next year in 25 because the event keeps getting bigger, and we have absolutely outgrown the space. Will is still in the chat from Tesla Jigsaw. Yeah, if you want to fly out, my friend, join us in Muskegon, Michigan. So we're going to be doing that. It's going to be a huge event. And by the way, the following day is Plaid Day, when we will have some Tesla Plaids, a section of road closed off by the sheriff's department, and insurance and permits and all that to tear it up. And it appears that it has been confirmed that we will have Cybertrucks there as well. So all the more reason for our friends from Europe to make the trek and come on out and have some fun with us.
Yeah, and please do that. Check the event out. And I wanted to hit here one thing, and I want to tell: will the Cybertruck come to Europe? Because that's a big deal for us, of course. All the Americans now will say, no, of course, this is for our market. Stop pulling the leg of Tesla, talking about European release of a Cybertruck. Don't do it. I see the Cybertruck release in Europe as a Trojan horse, because you have so much technology that needs to be approved in Europe as well. That's why I want to. Wow, was there something? There's a mini Cybertruck. Perfect. Yeah, and also the semi. Somebody wrote. Of course, this is also an interesting thing, but I want to go into that thing. I mean, I want to show something, and I think this explains many things. Because the crash test safety is the only thing that's left, like the lawyers confirmed to you, or the people who are in contact with the lawyers confirmed to you, Brian. So this means just the crash testing. Just the crash testing sounds a little bit, easy, but it's not actually. But we need Euro NCAP data to confirm that. Brian, you wanted to say something?
No, I just wanted to say, they didn't. My source did not confirm for me which part of the process is outstanding.
Okay.
And it was important that I sufficiently play dumb to not arouse suspicion. And it was. So I don't know which parts are actually outstanding. Okay. I've read that the edges need to be rolled to a certain diameter, which I don't know how that makes sense, but what I actually did, I've turned it around. I've looked at the things that are approved in Europe, and that's what I wanted to share here for 1 second. I'm ready.
Let's see what's approved. Lars, could you share my screen for 1 second here? That's up. Yes. I'm gonna check the loudness so you don't get your eardrums blown out. It's in German, but I made subtitles. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's the comments. Wait a second. Let's look at them. It will never pass German safety regulation. That's all comments from my video about the Cybertruck when I talked with Brian. So let's see.
Gibt's aber noch einen ESV. Der ist dann noch ein bisschen länger. Schiff, was wir hier bewegen, das ist ja nicht normal.
Schön ist, hast du Anhängerlast von 3500 Kilo. Kannst 8 Personen mitnehmen.
Okay.
Das ist wahrscheinlich das optimale Familienauto. Ich putze die Autos.
Yep. So that was just that was just the answer to all the haters in that sense that said no, it will never come to Europe. Of course, it's not as easy to see it this way, but come on, guys, this thing is approved in Europe. Even the ESV version, which is the long version, it's actually nearly as long as or the same length as the Cybertruck. Can seat up to 8 people. Weighs 3 metric tons. And so it's super similar to the Cybertruck actually, and not to mention the 6-wheeled G-Wagon von Brabus that weighs 4.5 tons, which can only be driven with a semi-license actually, but it is street legal in Europe. And this thing is also very high. This could eat up humans when you're talking about crash tests. Of course, we have to still see the crash test results because of the stainless steel, but I've also heard it's not 3 millimeters thick. It's 1.2 and it's curved. And yeah, it's bendy, actually. Yeah. But what do you want to say to that?
I would say that replacing the hood and grille is easy. The 2 pieces of the front can be replaced. Put something else on instead. There, you've solved 80% of your complaints. Mm-hmm. And if a Sprinter van is still legal,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Lars shares the picture again, here we see the G-Wagon. I've brought it up just one. That thing is street legal. And a human is about this tall or something like this. So pedestrian safety, I can't hear it anymore. This word is a trigger word right now for me. This thing is approved in Germany as well. So
but the very, very edges are slightly rounded.
Yeah, just like a different
Therefore,
vehicle.
you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and actually, when you compare the Ford F-150 to the Cybertruck, which is also approved in Europe, is that the Cybertruck actually goes into a kind of cheetah stance when it drives, so it goes lower, and also the rollover would be very better with a triangular shape than a boxy shape like we've seen here. So that's what just wanted to add here, a notion there that I've looked into. So yeah,
pedestrian safety is misunderstood. People don't remember that we're mostly made of water, so it's fine.
Yeah,
It's all good.
just mop us up and we're ready to go again. Yeah.
Wring out the sponge, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and people tend to forget that Tesla has a lot of safety features, and that's what I wanted to highlight here. It's about crash avoidance. Actually, those systems are also rated in Euro NCAP, and those are one of the bigger parts of Euro NCAP as well. Not just the crash; it's the things around that. And Tesla's superb in that sense. They are in the top rate. Like they are the top rating. They invented the top. They even invented ways because of the rollover tests. They had to adjust the rollover test because of Tesla, because the center of gravity of EVs is so low and stuff like this. So yeah, just wanted to add that here and hope that the Cybertruck will come to Europe, not next year, but maybe down the line, 2 years. I'm going to wait in my Model 3,
Of course. Any other big news for 24 we want to get into? Let's hear, do you think we're going to see another record year?
No.
Yes.
It's downhill from here.
The growth story has ended. We had a good run, you guys. But I'm switching to Leo Motors after this for sure. That's a company, right? I think I got it.
Yeah.
Leo.
I'll just cover e-scooters from now on.
That's a good
You know
idea.
how big you know how many videos you could make on e-scooters? There's got to be 1,000 companies making them.
Absolutely. No, I think the growth story will continue very much. And also, somebody said in the comments before, oh, the Model 3 Highland, for example, they were available. 1 week, that means they have so many cars laying around there. The demand is pretty low. No, they produce a lot. That's the thing. They produce in masses, and now the ships roll in. That means I was lucky enough to be in that category where my configuration was there, and they adjusted maybe the wheels or something in the center, and that's it. So I think actually they have to reach 20 million, the production number of 20 million cars with the next gen vehicle, and and I think it's going to change the whole industry. So that's my take.
John reminded me that I was going to talk about semi, and we forgot to do that. So thank you
sorry.
for that. What are we expecting? We're expecting a factory to break ground a year ago. I don't expect large numbers until they've got an assembly line. But just like everything Tesla does, when they decide it is time to go full steam, the steam shall go.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I expect them to keep making a few more here and there. It would be nice if we could count on 1 or 2 a week, maybe even 3 a week, but I just don't see it. Because the 4680 ramp has gone poorly, the 2170s that they were going to be using for the semi have been diverted to Texas to go into the Model Ys. And if they weren't going to Texas, they'd still need them to go to Fremont to go into those Model Ys and 3s so that they could continue to qualify for the credit. Panasonic needs to increase production in Nevada. Pretty please, Panasonic, won't you do that? Panasonic and others have more factories under construction, but they needs to get some done. And the ramp up requirements on locally sourced components for the IRA credit are already becoming a constraint. We can see a lot of vehicles lost their qualification. It looks like for 2024, there are 0 plug-in hybrids that qualify, which I think is a good thing because, come on, get real. But there should be some that qualify again in the future. But they need more batteries. And it's not just a question of getting more batteries. There are enough batteries, but they need enough of the right batteries in the right places for the right models. And that's the trickier one because we're doing this dance with all the credits. So where do I expect to see semi-production in 24? Low. We will know when production ramp is coming because we'll see a factory go up, and we haven't seen anything that would indicate construction on that is imminent.
Yeah.
So that's the answer. Interesting. But it's gonna. Lars, please.
Yeah, because that's also going to be a very interesting thing to follow along in 2024 is the production ramp up the 4680 cell and see how that is going. Because we haven't heard anything else since, what was it, 10 million they got to?
20, I think, was the
20.
was the second one we might have heard.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think 20. Anyway, the 4680 is a vexing form factor, as we've seen from other manufacturers. I had a chance to sit in on a presentation by Jen Gowdy at the Oregon McAdams Service Center. She used to work on the 4680 pilot line on Cato Road. And I said, and she knows who I am, so I have to be very delicate with my questions, and I was not allowed to record. I said, now not talking about Tesla batteries, but just 4680s generally. Other companies are trying to manufacture them. Panasonic has stepped back from their plans to make them in Oklahoma. It looks like they're going to focus on 2170s. Is there something vexing about the form factor itself? And she said, yeah, I can't answer that. I cannot tell you, because if I answer that about other manufacturers, I am absolutely answering the question for Tesla, or I'm spilling secret sauce, and I can't do that. So but she said more than once, go watch The Limiting Factor, which I did share with Jordan Giesecke, and he was tickled.
Awesome.
So, and I will tell you that, and I haven't talked with Jordan about this yet, but I will today, she is of the opinion that Jordan Giesecke has inside sources because she believes that his information has accuracies that you could not deduce by reading white papers and patents. So, and I had not heard anything from him that he has any sources. So the good news is, if he doesn't have sources, he is so accurate that it looks like he does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I tried to get this guy on my channel since 1 year. We were in contact, and then he ghosted me because he's working all the time on of great videos, of course. So I might just review his videos. That's the only thing I can get about it. Yeah,
And he doesn't do very many appearances either. So
yeah, I know.
And yeah, he's a very private person. I've met him once in person, and I've had him on my show once. But we talk periodically online. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe his appearance is the limiting factor. Maybe.
That is it. That's
it. That's
So my thoughts for production is 24 will be a record year, but it will not be a 50% year. We will see 3 production increase because Highland is a little bit more efficient. If there's downtime to reconfigure for the 3 Fresh in Fremont, it will not be enough to materially impact the overall production for the year because we had that this year in China and we still hit a record. When it comes to Model Y, any improvement in rates will allow the sales to continue growing. But even economies of scale that are continue being gained and efficiencies means the price can still come down a few $100 at least, maybe even $1,000 or $2,000. Please don't wait for that. You never know; it could go the other direction. That would increase, but But I can't see anything that says this is the 50% year. At the end of the year, I expect we will see the roadmap is showing we will be back on track in 25 or 6. So it'll be a record year, but it won't be an eye-watering year. And I will point out that while a lot of people are saying that EV sales are dead, it's over, that everybody's scaling back, 2023 has already been a record year for EVs in the US and globally, both.
Yeah.
So the story may be over for the big 3. They've got to be scrambling. But all that means is that they're in trouble, not that EVs are.
Yeah.
Lars, what's your take?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we're gonna have like maybe a 25% increase next year, 2.2 or something like that, with the scale of Texas and Berlin ramping up Model Y even more, and the new refresh Model 3. And of course the Cybertruck. If 90,000 is a thing, well, maybe 50 or 70,000 of that. That's going to be amazing to see that many Cybertrucks out in the wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to have like a slow year for Tesla when it comes to ramp up. Even though
Your mic just cut a little bit.
Did it cut?
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because like if they do like 2.2 million next year, it's only going to be like 25% increase or something like that. But that's still 400,000 more than this year. So it's still going to be quite an amazing year for Tesla. But it's just not going to be the percentage of growth that we have been used to for the last couple of years.
Yeah. My take on it is Tesla will broaden their platform of manufacturing stuff more and more that they are doing. I mean, they're opened up factories, semi-ramp and stuff like they have so many construction sites also doing this that now they widen their like they're making the pipeline to get those many cars through until 2030. That's my theory there. That and it might like go up 25% from the production side, from the growth rate. It's gonna stagnate in between because they're gonna build out broadly and then up. I would say that's my theory more or less. Because of course they have to get to a ramping phase of the Cybertruck. Then we still have the Roadster, if anybody still remembers that thing. And yeah, so this should be out 2 years. But the timelines doesn't really matter in that sense. I think we're gonna still have to wait because this is a transitionary phase that we are in. They're gonna replace so many internal combustion engine vehicles. They're gonna take such a big market share in the long run. Also, the Chinese manufacturer, I would add there, BYD, for example, is a good example. Their growth rate is insane as well. And they need to build it out. They want to reach 20 million in 2030. We have to remember that. And if that's happening, then they're bigger than VW and Toyota combined. So this is crazy, actually. Ridiculous, absolutely. Yeah.
Any other big predictions for 24 from either of you?
No, I'm done. Cybertruck for Europe in 25.
The Tesla 50 style diner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the big one.
They're building it right now.
Perfect.
So
Awesome.
another construction site to follow, Brian.
Yeah. Drone footage, please.
I am looking forward to tracking. I've got to count squares. I don't feel comfortable without squares to count. It's a lot of work.
How many
but
bagels do they sell?
I have measured it in so many ways by Walmart's, by Barnes and Noble's, by it's 2 malls of America, and people go, God, these Americans will do anything to avoid metric.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How many Big Mac furlongs is it?
We don't know.
Just take the metric system, please, guys.
Tune in next week. Yeah.
You're gonna see a lot of refinement with the Dojo computer, version 12, the Tesla bot, and all that software stuff as well. So I think we're gonna see a lot of cool new stuff. But
I have a big one. Grok integration into the Tesla bot. Grok AI integration into the Tesla bot at AI Day. When is it AI Day? February or January?
I haven't heard.
Oh yeah, but okay. In the first quarter, I think of 2024, there
Grok
could be
integration.
Yeah, that's my prediction. Like they can talk with the Tesla bot then. That's a prediction I have. Also, that I found very interesting. Maybe.
Super loco.
Kill.
All right. So for those tuning in just now, I have terrible news for you. The show is just about over.
Yeah.
You have missed it. It will be available on the replay. And subscribe to everybody you see here, even this crazy jackass right here, my Tesla weekend. I do a video from time to time, and Lars does videos from time to time as well. And Jan, I think, doesn't have a channel. I have no idea. I can't find him on X or on.
Don't search for this. Don't search for this name, please.
And whatever you do, don't subscribe to any of us because we have fun and we and we get out there. And interestingly, Jan, despite having such a small channel, gets the hugest guests on, people that I can't get on, which is amazing. And he's gotten to meet people in real life. And in June in Michigan, he will get to meet more of us, which is even more exciting. And Lars, for those who don't know, is the guy who made a 3-part documentary about driving a Tesla into the Arctic Circle in the dead of winter to prove, guys, cold weather, it can handle it. It's fine. So I send people to that video all the time because when people say, well, I live in wherever and it gets cold, I say, oh, colder than the Arctic Circle in winter. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you both for hanging out with me.
Thank you both for hanging out with me on my channel and on Lars's channel. So yeah.
Thanks for
I love these streams. Yeah.
Can't wait for 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. So to everybody, I wish you a happy new year going forward. I hope I can upload finally my backlog of videos that I still have because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't handle producing content because my editor of mine is just at holiday. What is he thinking? So yeah, that's why I'm pretty backlogged. So many videos will come in the first week of 2024 and maybe tomorrow. So that's something to look out for. Maybe Lars, what do you have in the pipeline Yeah, you have to edit something as well for tomorrow, I
have
think.
to do something tomorrow morning because I have
Yeah.
a new show coming out tomorrow. So yeah, the last new show of 2023 before
Perfect.
we kick it off next year.
Yeah. And Brian, do you have something?
Oh, who knows, man? I went and saw the Cybertruck yesterday, and I've got probably 2 videos about that. I saw it in Portland. And by the way, if you're in the Northwest area, there's one at the McAdams Service Center in Portland, Oregon. And it is on display. You can get close to it. They will not open a door or a tonneau cover for you to look inside. They will not adjust the suspension, because if they were willing to do any of that, that's all they would do all day, because people are coming in constantly. And I just want to leave my fingerprints on it, and they said no. They said no to that. So what have I got going on? Some interesting videos. I noticed some new curves, some new design elements, some new lines. This is why Tesla, I assume, doesn't let me into their events, is because I would catch things that other people don't catch. I was the last person on YouTube to see the Cybertruck in person, and I still found things that everybody else missed. So... And yeah, as Jeff points out in the chat, I'm going to CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. What is that, next week? Like immediately.
Awesome.
So that is going to be fun. I know Dr. Know-It-All will be there. And he will also be at our event in Michigan in June. Hopefully I'm not spilling too many secrets. But, you know, it's just the 3 of us. I don't think we're even broadcasting this at this point.
No. Oh, you didn't broadcast. All right.
No.
Thank you very much, guys, for your time, and thank you also for the audience. And see you in the next year, refreshed, haha, like the Model 3 Highland. And yeah, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, take care, guys. Bye.